All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. And next, double honors to the head apostles / elder bishops of the great millstone who teach and who rule well. Peace, blessings, and safety. To all you sincere Akim, keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith, regardless of whether people hear and whether they forbear. All right, this lesson is going to be pretty much going into the spirit of being offended, all right, that a lot of Israelites have. Okay, they're offended at this, they're offended at that, and quite frankly, it's a wicked spirit, it's weak, it's feminine, all right, and this truth, all right, this truth is harsh, okay? It tells you in Ezekiel, the 2nd chapter, down at the bottom, all right, that this book is a book of mourning and woes and lamentations, all right? And, you know, if you've been watching brothers that's in the truth for any period of time, then you know we're constantly prophesying of the death and destruction that is getting ready to come upon the world, all right, especially here in Babylon the Great. So if you're offended at you know, things like this this picture, because this is an inspiration from the brother GMS South Carolina Manata Zakba. All right, this is inspiration for this lesson comes from this. All right, somebody put this on the comment board, and he made a video response to it. Pretty much someone talking about how they're offended at the thumbnail, all right, which the thumbnail was designed to pretty much be clickbait, all right, to get attention, and then also to highlight the wickedness, all right, of, you know, of our people, okay? So, you know, sometimes you got to say things harshly. Not everything is going to be cuddly and soft, you know, and the Lord is not like that, okay? It says in Exodus 15:3 that the Lord is a man of war, all right? He's an all right, Salaki, I got cut off, but I'm back. Okay, as I was saying though, all right, Exodus 15:3, all right, it tells you that the Lord is a man of war, all right? He's an austere man, okay? Austere meaning strict, rigid, tough, hard, okay? You know, how are you gonna you know, deal with what we're coming into if you're so sensitive and so soft that pictures like this are offensive to you? All right, you're gonna see things that are much worse. You're gonna see, you know, war, okay, blood, guts, gore, people that you love die. All right, so you got. I'm just keeping it a buck, man. All right, you got to be prepared for that. You can't be so fucking weak. All right, 1 Kings 2:2 says to show thyself a man. All right, this truth is supposed to make you a man, okay? But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and bring out some scriptures, man. But I just wanted to give that, you know, that quick introduction because, like I says, a lot of people that have that bitch ass, you know, I'm offended spirit, and that's the reason why you see all these bug outs. All right, Christians 2/3, all right, and the you know, all nations can be saved, Israelites, a whole slew of bug outs. All right, because at the end of the day, they're offended at the gospel, they're offended at the prophecies. All right, and it's going to lead to them being destroyed. So let's go ahead and bring out some scriptures, and Lord's will is edifying to the elect. All right, so let's get Matthew 11:6 to start with. All right, and it reads, it says, and blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. Okay, and that's really going, you know, talking about being offended at the scriptures. All right, you know, blessed is he that is not offended at the scriptures, the harshness of it. Okay, because like I said, this book is a book of woes and mournings and lamentations. Okay, meaning sorrows. All right, this is not, you know, this is not Disneyland and sunshine and rainbows and cupcakes and lollipops and all that stuff that, you know, you grew up on in the Christian church. All right, you know, God is love and all that, which, you know, he is. All right, but he's also wrath. All right, he also kills and he makes alive. He wounds and he heals. All right, he's perfect balance. Okay, you know, so, you know, blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. And this is Lord Yahweh Shai speaking to the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Okay, because that's a characteristic of the elect. The elect is going to believe in the scriptures. They're going to take the scriptures as they are, regardless of how harsh it is. I mean, there's some very harsh things in the scriptures. Okay, and there's things that, you know, for the, especially if you're still in an American mindset, it's going to be offensive to you. That's why you have to. That's why it tells you in Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. That's talking about spiritually. Okay, you have to spiritually depart from the mindset, the ways of Babylon, and thoughts. All right, because the Lord is not coming to save Americans; He's coming to save the elect. Okay, and the elect is going to have a cold spirit on them. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and prove that right quick. All right, I'm just going to get one quick scripture out of this. It's the book of Job, chapter 5, and verse 22. Okay, it says, "At destruction and famine meaning people starving to death, thou shalt laugh." All right, do you imagine? Can you imagine how much of a hardcore, cold spirit you have to have on you to laugh at destruction and seeing niggas starve to death? Okay, can you imagine how much of a cold spirit you got to have on you? And the reason why it's going to be that way is because we're going to face hell at the hands of the 2/3 and at the hands of these heathen nations and Esau. It's all part of the Lord's movie. So you can't be, what are you going to do when persecution arises? All right, you're going to bitch up, you're going to get weak. Okay, and I'm using harsh language particularly because it's to weed out the weaklings, man. All right, it's to weed out, and excuse my French, but the pussies. Okay, if you can't handle harsh language, you can't handle reality. We live in the most wicked society that ever existed. All right, and you got people complaining because of a picture like this. Like, you don't see this kind of stuff each and every single day, as if you don't listen. And I don't listen to rap music like that, but a lot of you, and myself included, before we came into the truth, we were listening to all kind of stuff. You see it in movies, you see it in music, and that's the thing about this. Okay, the 100% truth is going to bring you the good and the bad. Okay, it's going to bring you reality. This is not to coddle you and hold your hand and all that stuff. Okay, we're going to give you the harsh reality, and this, all right, not this specifically, but lewdness and the wickedness of our people is a harsh reality, and this picture, all it is highlighting that. That's it, and it's just a thumbnail. Okay, the rest of the video is all scriptures. All right, but just once again, highlighting reality, because that's what this truth is about. See, if you want to live in a fantasy, you go back to Christianity, go back to white Jesus. All right, this is the 100% truth according to the Bible. All right, let's get some more scriptures. Let's go back. Let's get the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 24. All right, and Yahushua, he was a man. He was a hard man. Okay, he would call people snakes and vipers. Throwing tables around. All right, Yahushua was a hard man. Okay, he wasn't soft and lovey-dovey all the time. He was humble. All right, but humble doesn't mean weak. Doesn't mean soft. Doesn't always mean cuddly. Okay, Sirach 39 and 24, it says, "As his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked." All right, so the ways of the Lord, all right, they're plain to the holy. Okay, we understand the Lord is perfect balance. All right, it even tells you in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, there's a time for love and a time for hate. There's a time for peace and a time for war. All right, the Lord is perfect balance. That's the way of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, but this is a stumbling block into the wicked. Okay, they're offended at the fact that the Heavenly Father kills women, He kills children. All right, they're offended at these things, but this is all in the scriptures. It's just a part of the truth. And whether you're offended or not, that's not going to stop reality from setting in. All right, look all around you. I mean, hell, I used to live in Arizona, and out there's drugs everywhere. Homeless people on every corner. I see all kind of stuff. I used to, walk through the alley going to work 2-3 in the morning, see dead bodies and people overdosing. All right, that's just what it is, man. This is reality. This is the world we live in. I mean, hell, us as so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Look at our history. It's been bloody. We've caught straight hell here in Babylon the Great, and our people are wicked to the core. But yet you're offended at a freaking picture. All right, and like I said, you ain't seen nothing yet, man. All right, the Lord said a time is coming that no time has ever been like it before. All right, so you're gonna have to get rid of that. Once again, you gotta get rid of that bitch ass, I'm offended spirit, because it's not gonna serve you anything. It's not gonna serve you any good. Reality is harsh. The Lord is harsh. He's a man of war, right? But he's also merciful. Merciful, full of loving kindness and grace, all those different things. But you can't take the good without the bad. All right, that's pretty much it. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's go to the book of St. John chapter 6. Okay, because we're gonna get some accounts. All right, when Yahushua he was speaking, and he was speaking of spiritual matters, and people were offended because, of the sayings. They were hard sayings. All right, this is St. John chapter 6 and verse. Let's see, St. John chapter 6 and verse 47 says, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me hath everlasting life. I am the bread. I am that bread of life. Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which cometh down from heaven, that a man may eat thereof and not die. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world." The Jews therefore strove among themselves, saying, "How can this man give us his flesh to eat?" Then Yahushua saith unto them, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, except ye eat the flesh of the Son of Man, and drink his blood, ye have no life in you. Whoso eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood hath eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwelleth in me, and I in him." Okay, now so what is he talking about here? All right, they couldn't understand. They thought that he was literally telling them to eat his flesh and drink his blood, all right, which would be going off according to the law. Okay, but what he was really saying is to eat and digest the scriptures, because he is the word in the flesh, as it tells you in John chapter 1 and verse 14, I believe. Okay, he is the word in the flesh. That's what he was saying. He was saying digest, consume this word. All right, that's what he was saying. All right, but they got offended. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna scroll down and get that part. Okay, St. John chapter 6 and verse 60. "Many therefore of his disciples, when they had heard this, said, This is an hard saying, who can hear it? When Yahushua knew in himself that his disciples murmured at it, he said unto them, Doth this offend you? What? And if ye shall see the Son of Man ascend up where he was before? It is the Spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. But there are some of you that believe not, for Yahushua knew from the beginning who they were that believed not and who should betray him. And he said, Therefore I said I unto you, that no man can come unto me except it were given unto him of my Father. From that time, many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him." Okay, so see, people got sifted. All right, and that's what the Lord, really, ultimately, that's what the Lord is doing. He's sifting the people that are coming with that, like I said, that offended spirit. All right, they're being sifted. Okay, Amos chapter 9, I think in verse 9. So I'm looking for. Okay, yep, it says, "For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as a corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth." Okay, and really that's talking about pulling the elect out of all the nations, but also, you can apply it to to people falling out of the truth. All right, the Lord, he's sifting people. Okay, because you got a lot of people that come in. Many are called, but few are chosen. All right, many are called, meaning that they hear these words, they hear the truth. They may even come around for a bit, fellowship with the brothers, may even hit the highways and byways. All right, but if there's guile in their spirit, then the Lord is going to eventually push them out. And that's one of the main things that pushes people out, is that they're offended at the truth. They're offended at Yahushua. Okay, so that's just an example. The same thing was going on back then. All right, and that also shows that even if your ministry is perfect, because obviously Yahushua had a perfect ministry. All right, even if your ministry is perfect, people are still going to leave. They're still going to get offended. There's no way that you can please men. Actually, matter of fact, let's get that right quick. All right, there's no way that you could be a servant of the Lord and please the people of the world. It's not possible. All right, Galatians 1 and 10, it says, "For do I now persuade men or the Most High? Or do I seek to please men? For if I yet pleased men, I should not be the servant of the anointed, the Hamashiach." All right, Hamashiach, which means the Messiah. Okay, so he said, if I please men, I would not be a servant of the Lord. So if everybody, and it tells you that. All right, Luke the 6th chapter. Okay, see, everybody loves and reverences the false prophets, but the true prophets are hated. Okay, this is Luke chapter 6 and verse 20. Luke chapter 6 and verse 26. All right, it says, "Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets." Okay, so if everybody loves you, nobody's getting offended at your word, your message, then you most likely you're a false prophet. Okay, because the true prophets of the Lord are gonna reprove people. They're gonna correct. All right, they're gonna give you sharp rebuke. All right, they're gonna speak on the hard parts of the Bible. Like one of the main points of offense for a lot of people is Deuteronomy the 22nd chapter, the law. All right, the law on on grape. Okay, and it's not saying it's okay to do it. It's just saying what the consequences are for those who do it. All right, and a lot of people are offended at that when it's brought out. All right, and that sets people out of the truth. That shows the true believer. That separates the true believers from from those who are they're just in the truth or so-called in the truth because they're looking for the cuddly things. They want the benefits. They want the rewards, but they really don't love Yahweh Shai. Because if you're offended at the scriptures, you're offended at any part of the scriptures, the law, the prophecies, you're offended at Yahweh Shai. All right, including the writings of Paul, because those are the commandments of the Lord. All right, and once again, the Lord, he said it's a stumbling, as we read earlier, Sirach 39 and 24, as his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. A lot of people get tripped up, Christians included, get tripped up on the writings of Paul, and they think that the writings of Paul contradict the Old Testament, contradict the law, the prophecies, and all that stuff, which is completely false. But once again, his ways are stumbling blocks unto the wicked. All right, so they're offended, and yeah, man, that's what it is. Let's get a few more scriptures. Let's get Matthew the 13th chapter. All right, because there's a parable that Yahweh Shai spoke of. All right, going into that. Okay, Matthew chapter 13 and verse 3, it says, "And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But others fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, and some 30-fold." Okay. Now we're gonna scroll down and get the understanding of that parable. Okay. This is Matthew, same chapter 13 and verse 18. It says, "Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom, and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside." All right, and how does the wicked one come? All right, someone comes and they hear the 100% truth. All right, they don't understand it, and this is really talking about Christians right here. All right, they don't understand the 100% truth according to the Bible. Because here's the thing: there's no way that the prophecies and Christianity can both be true. It's not possible. That's the reason why Christians they do their best to avoid the Old Testament, because that's where most of the prophecies are. All right. So with that being said, if you ever do have a Christian try to come up, all you got to do to overcome them is just start going into prophecy, because they're going to drown. All right. They can't. That's the deep waters. They're not able to swim in those deep waters. But this is once again, this parable, this one right here, verse 19, is talking about Christians. Really, that's the best example I can think of. It says, "When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom, and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one." All right, these false pastors, these false prophets, all right, in the Christian church, "and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside." So they hear the truth and they ponder upon it. They don't understand it, and then they go, maybe a friend, a Christian friend, or they go to the church and ask their pastor, and and he tells them, "Oh, don't worry about that. That's the Old Testament." Or he says, maybe they do understand a little bit, and then a Christian comes and starts putting pressure on them. "Oh, that's a cult, blah blah blah. God loves everybody." Starts, putting nonsense back in their mind, and pretty much, pulls out those seeds that were planted. All right. Okay, verse 20 says, "But he that receives seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it. Yet hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word, by and by is he offended. See, so that's another one right there. All right, you have brothers that come into the truth, and then when it comes time to bring out the fierceness, the harshness of the scriptures, all right, then what happens? Tribulation comes. People start turning against them. Maybe their woman leave them. Their family turn against them. They may lose their job. All right, you become public enemy number one, and what do? They bitch up. They're offended, and they fall out the truth. They got sifted. All right. It says, verse 20. That's why you got to beware of that spirit, because that offended spirit will pull you out of truth. You got to take, and I tell new brothers this. I've been having some new brothers coming around, and I tell them, okay, take your emotions out of this. All right. There's no, in the Christian church, you grew up. It's all emotions and all that. People crying and running around and dancing, all that. It's all emotions, but when you really are in the truth for real, especially when it comes to the ministry of the prophets, there is, once again, it's good and bad. It's sweetness and it's bitterness. Okay, you can't let that affect you to the point where you get emotional and you walk away from the scriptures. Because that's what a lot of people end up doing. Or maybe they don't walk away from the scriptures, but they shun, or they try to hide or run away from the harsher parts of the scriptures. They don't want to go into. They try to, and you see it with Christians. You go into the prophecies, they try to change the subject real quick. Nah, man. You gotta see. You gotta look at this objectively. All right, you can't be in that. You gotta take your emotions out of it, man. All right, there's really no room for that. Okay, the only emotion that you ought to be feeling is the fear of the Lord. All right, let's get some more. This is Matthew 13, verse 22. It says, he also that receives seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he become unfruitful. So that's another way. Some guys are, they're in the truth and they get offended because of persecution. People turn against them. But then you also have those guys that, they're in the truth, and it kind of is in the same category in a way. They're in the truth, and right before you are able to receive honor, you have to have humility. All right, that's Proverbs 15:33. So right now we're in the time of being in a low estate. Okay, and then they look at the people of the world. They see they see different dudes with the women. They got the fancy cars. Maybe they're a rapper. Maybe they selling drugs or whatever. Or maybe they had goals and aspirations in the world, and they put the truth down to chase those. Like myself, I used to be a pilot. Believe it or not, I used to be a pilot. And I was doing that for a while. Lost my job, but that was way after I came into the truth. But I could have continued to pursue it, right? I could have went back and tried to pick it up again and finish out my flight training and all that stuff. But I said nah. I gave that up to be a prophet of the Lord. I gave up being a pilot. And all these different goals. I used to be a successful business owner. In the world, I was that guy. All right, but all that don't mean shit. I count it all done. For that, matter of fact, let's get that right quick. All right, I count it all done, man. Like I said, I was that guy in the world. All right, so I can speak from firsthand experience, and I got receipts to prove it. And I'm not bigging up on myself because, like I said, it's all crap. All right, it's all nonsense. It's all foolishness. It's all vanity. This is Philippians 3:8. Once again, I'm personal testimony. I gave up everything for this truth, and I don't feel, hey man, I don't regret one bit. I don't regret it one bit. This is Philippians 3:8. It says, yea, doubtless, and I count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Yahushua HaMashiach, my Lord, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, that I may win Yahushua. Okay, so that's the mindset you ought to be in. All right, you're gonna lose a lot coming to this truth, but only to gain everything 100-fold, as it says in Mark 10:30. Okay, everything you lose, give up, you're gonna gain 100-fold in the kingdom, and you got to truly believe that. All right, but you got a lot of people, like it says right here. All right, that verse 22. The cares of this world, the deceitfulness of riches, choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful. So, they start thinking about, oh, I was a man in the world before I came into this truth. I had all the bitches. Nah, fuck that. Nope. You're gonna get plenty of that in the kingdom. All right, anything you want. Psalms 37:4 tells you to delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give thee the desires of thine heart in due time. All right, in due time. All right, let's just keep moving on though. Okay, let's get the next part of that parable, the last part. Matthew 13:23, it says, "But he that received seed unto the good ground is he that heareth the word, and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit, and bringeth forth some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. All right, and that's what the Lord has ultimately chosen you to do. Okay, if you're in the truth, Lord's will, we be that number that's of the elect. That's what we were chosen to do. All right, and we didn't choose the Lord; He chose us. Okay, St. John chapter. Let me see. I think this is it. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. St. John chapter 15 and verse 16. "Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you shall ask of my Father in my name, he may give it to you." So the Lord said, I chose you, that you may bring forth fruit. Right? But once again, man, that offended spirit can pull you out of the truth, man. All right? So you gotta be very careful about that. And I'm gonna get this last one. Okay, it's already written that a lot are gonna be offended. This is Isaiah 8:13. It says, "Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread." That's the only emotions that you ought to be thinking about in this 100% truth according to the Bible. The only things you got to be thinking about is fearing the Lord and doing that which is well pleasing unto him. Okay, it even tells you in 2 Timothy chapter 4, I think verse 3. Let me get that right quick. It tells you, I get verses 2 and 3. Okay, 2 Timothy 4. No, I'm thinking of 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 3. It says, "Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua HaMashiach." Endure hardness. Okay? It says, "No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier." So you can't worry about what's going on in the rest of the world. All you got to worry about, all right, is preaching this word. All right, doing that which is well pleasing unto the Lord. Okay? Regardless, you got to put your personal emotions aside. All right, Isaiah 8:13, "Sanctify the Lord of hosts, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. And he shall be for a sanctuary, which is a place of safety, but for a stone of stumbling, and for a rock of offense to both the houses of Israel, for a gin and for a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem." Okay, so this is going to be a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense. All right, and what's going to happen to those that are offended? "And many among them shall stumble and fall and be broken and be snared and be taken." All right, but this is what's going to happen for his elect, though. It says, "Bind up the testimony and seal the law among my disciples. And I will wait upon the Lord that hideth his face in the house of Jacob, and I will look for him." Okay, and that's what we're going to do. All right, and Lord's will, we be those men that he delivers. Okay, that he sends his son down to deliver in that day. All right, so I could go, there's a lot more scriptures I can get, but I'm going to close out with that. I think that suffices. So Lord's will was edifying. As always, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Until next time, Shalom and a Bible ball.